everybody, and welcome back to Board Game Smorgasbord. My name is Z Garcia.
I'm Camilla.
And I'm Chris.
Today, we are sans vaisselle, because he's traveling out of town. So we're going to do this on our own. If you were here for Tom Vassell, first of all, what are you doing, okay? You should be here for the news, the witty banter.
The top three.
The top three that's going to be fire today. You're going to leave here hungry.
I came hungry. Am I doing this right?
Yes.
Yes!
Chris, he swims to the beat of his own drum.
You will leave inspired then.
He eats to the beat of his own. Anyway, before we get to it, folks, some news, some announcements. First of all, Dice Tower East 2024 registration, that's open, baby.
Yes.
What are you doing? Do you have your tickets yet? If you don't, you need to stop beating to the drum of your own supply, and you need to get on it, okay? Here's the deal. There are 574 badges sold already. The hotel block, that's 87% sold already.
It is such a nice hotel.
That is a nice hotel,
really like the Caribbean,
okay?
and it's right there with the convention. You know, you play games, go to bed, wake up, go play games, right
There's
there.
a pool somewhere
You
in the
forgot
middle
the
of
water
those two
slide.
things. Yeah, water
I've never
slides.
done the water slide.
There's
I know.
a nice pool at this hotel,
yeah.
folks, very much. We're going to have a bunch of events. We're going to have Grant from Grant's Game Rex. We have magicians galore. Joey Evans, Brian Drake.
Who?
So make sure you get your ticket, okay? Go to tabletop.events and get your ticket if you haven't. You can also pre-order merchandise there that will have, all the goodies. So tabletop.event, Dice Tower East 2024. Another event that's coming up and is also ready to go here, and you want to jump on that as well, is the cruise, the Dice Tower Cruise.
Yes, I'm so ready.
There's a handful of rooms left, okay? So if you sign up for this before Thanksgiving, you get your free souvenir shirt as well. So the cruise is 7 days gaming at sea. Few fantastic stops we've got coming up this year. So you want to be there. We've got a special guest that you might recognize, Mr. Sam Healy. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
You want to be there. It's one of the absolute best events we do.
It really is.
Yeah,
It's amazing. Okay, you're gonna have a fantastic time. DicetowerCruise.com.
Our top 3 desserts, probably all on that ship.
That is correct. Okay.
No, I've never had one of mine on there.
Well, not all of us are snooty.
I am pretty snooty when it comes to food. I am. I like what I like.
All right, one last thing here, folks. You want to win a shirt?
Yes.
How about a nice retro shirt with some rockin' 8-bit inspired graphics?
Hammer Bros.
The Hammer Bros. Throwing it at a die, I'm guessing. I love it. It's pretty cute. The Mr. Tom Vassell right there. All right, if you want to win this, folks, subscribe to Dice Tower Digest. This is our newsletter that's sent out every 2 weeks, and it kind of gives you the skinny on what's going on, okay? It updates you on some things that are happening. So, if you want a quick, easy, digestible way, digestible, to see what's going on, you want to subscribe to this. If you do, it's 2 weeks, I think, the next 2 weeks, or when does it end? The 19th. The 19th.
So
soon.
Oh.
This is the second week.
Okay,
Because
so
it's been running for 2 weeks.
it's been running for 2 weeks, yeah. So you got 3 days.
Yep.
Sign up for it if you're not signed up for it. If you already were signed up for it, then you can click a link in the description of this video and fill out a little form, and you'll be entered to win as well. For we don't want to penalize you for already being subscribed to DT Digest. So there's your hookup. And that's going to do it for us, everybody. Let's go ahead and check out some gaming news. Here we go. All right, let's talk Elf Creek doing a new version of Santa's Workshop. Now, Santa's Workshop here is a game that came out a few years ago, back in 2017, from Rio Grande Games. Very different cover. You might not recognize this because this one has artwork from the illustrious Andrew Bosley.
Yep.
Woo! Everdell artist, many other games at this point, though Everdell is probably the best known one right now, but I mean, it's
Probably,
just
yeah.
stunning artwork. And so this is, like I said, from Elf Creek, who's put out Honey Buzz, Atlantis Rising, Merchants of the Dark Road. Well, Now they're coming out with this one. It's a game from Keith Ferguson. It has art as well from Jackie Davis, actually, and Andrew Bosley. And then
the two of them work well together.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And so it's, it's late December. Santa's getting ready for his trip around the world to bring presents to all the good boys and girls. However, there are lots of things still to be done before he can leave. So there's toys to be assembled, reindeer to be tended to in the stables, and the North Pole's own Christmas tree to decorate, which I really don't understand. There's no one there. Literally everyone who's there is leaving for Christmas.
But it's to inspire the workers. Like, it's Christmas.
No, okay, the
Yay!
whipping does that. The whipping,
That
elves.
inspires them.
Do you think Santa takes all of his elves on the sleigh?
Yeah,
like they
it's a
abandon the
magical
North
sleigh.
Pole?
How's this happening?
Okay, look, if this is true, hashtag rob the North Pole, okay? There's
It's the
no one
perfect time to break in there, okay? Anyway, this is a game for, it's basically a worker placement game for the entire family. Ages 8 and up, 10 and up, I'm sorry, they're saying. They're offering a first Christmas edition of the game, which comes with an exclusive promo pack, and you can pre-order that on their website, Elf Creek Games.
And my understanding is from the website, if you pre-order it, you should get it in time for Christmas.
You gots to.
So, but
An elf
retail.
will personally deliver it to you.
And while he's gone, we'll rob his
No, I don't
house.
think so. Yeah.
I'm really on this.
Yeah. So if you want it before Christmas, because Santa's Workshop, you have to pre-order it.
All right. Next up, City of the Living. So this, and by the way, this is going to be very Mike Delisio inspired news right here. We're going to be talking about a Knizia game and a bunch of trick-taking stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, get ready. Get ready. And just pretend I'm Mike
not ready.
Delisio sitting right
I'm just
here.
gonna crawl under the couch.
Oh, I put in some trick-taking games. That's Mike Delisio.
Mike Delisio.
Make no mistake. Yeah.
Anyway, this City of the Living from Trick or Treat, who are on fire lately, by the way, is a reprint of an Astari game that Knizia co-designed with Sebastian Bleasdale that was originally known as, which one was it? Is it in here somewhere?
Oh, I forgot.
Prosperity.
There we go, yeah, Prosperity, which I never played. I remember seeing the cover, I never played that one. It was one of the lesser sort of drummed up Astari games. It got very little attention. So here it is being brought up, being brought back out with a new theme, of course, to fit Trick or Treat Studios here. You are trying to rebuild this city, you're keeping zombies at bay, what have you. And you are doing that in order to be elected as the city's best leader. So the publisher said this new version will play identically to the original one. It just has a fresh coat of paint, a few sort of graphic design updates, and trying to make it more intuitive as to the original. It is planned for retail release Q1 2024. So coming out very soon.
It's always so exciting when you hear like, oh, it's coming out Q1.
I know.
It's
So
like,
go into
not crowdfunding?
Kickstarter.
Yes.
Yeah, go into Kickstarter Q3 2024. It's like, so I'll see it in 2026.
Cool, great. I'll forget by then.
Yeah.
No, that's really exciting.
It's funny that you said this is probably one of the lesser known Astari games, and I think for a lot of people who came into the hobby more recently, they've probably not even played any of the
they're
Astari
all
games.
unknown.
Yeah.
I don't know what Astari is.
It's a publisher
Thank you.
that is no longer around, but they put
Got
out
it.
some really heavy hitters.
Oh, okay, I thought maybe it was like an IP or something.
Oh, okay, yeah. No,
So
no, it's just a publisher from a whiles back, and so yeah, this is neat. You
Don't
know,
shame me. Don't gang it.
rob his house. He's gone.
All right, moving on. I don't know how to say this word.
Ooh, I'm so excited to try.
Bricolage? Bricolage?
Bricolage.
Broccoli.
Bricolage.
I don't know how to say that word. Bricolage. Heads. I know how to say the second one. Okay, so this is a game.
Watch you be wrong. It's Hayod's. Bricolage Hayod's.
I know, it might be totally wrong. Maybe I nailed the first word and the second one was mega wrong. So this is something that's going to debut at the Tokyo Game Market, which is going to happen, well, pretty soon, December 9th and 10th. And it still blows my mind that Tokyo Game Market is like a day and a half. It's like a few hours.
Yeah.
The whole
wow.
thing. Yeah. It's big news, but if you want to go, especially anybody who goes from here, you are flying all that time for like a full day. I think it's like, I don't know, maybe 6 hours on one day, maybe like 4 on the other one, and you're done.
Oh,
That's it.
wow.
Something nuts like that, yeah.
Darn, you'll just have to enjoy the rest of Tokyo, I guess.
Yeah. And there's nothing to do there, I heard. So this is It's set in a crowded district where brothers are turning trash into gigantic monsters to win fans of street art in a competition that takes place in a crowded entertainment district. By promoting your work and expanding your influence in the city, fans will come from further afield. So you make art quickly and you promote it even more quickly so that your opponents don't steal your fans. It seems to have a speed element. You're making big signs and trying to attract people over. It seems strange. From publisher Ramble Odd Potato, so that checks out, that it would be strange. Yeah, I don't know about this one. It's not really singing to me. I do like the cover. I think it's a strange looking little contraption of a game, but I don't know. And also that theme makes it sound like you look at that picture and you're like, there's a lot going on in that picture.
Yeah.
That looks like a bigger game than that description would lead me to believe. So maybe it's rocking.
Even at that, even from the description, I'm still like, wait, what's going on again? Know. Like it's not a lot of clarity coming from this one.
Yeah, once I sit down, I bet it'll click.
Yeah.
Might not be my favorite game or anything, but I'm intrigued at least by
cool
that.
Theme though. It's a weird theme. Yeah. Making street art and trying to attract fans.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Next up, we're taking a look at Sumo, trick-taking card game. So, Sumo here is a two-player only trick-taking card game that attempts to mimic sumo action through card play. You are going to use card play to push your opponent from the game is the idea. You place the sumo wrestler cards in the center of the sumo ring. I guess the ring has three positions, left, right, and center. One player sits on the left of the ring, the other on the right. You have a hand of 8 cards, and they have, it's 20 cards, 1 through 5 in 4 suits. Okay. Each player plays and reveals a card with the high card playing first, and if they're tied, you repeat that until one player wins. It sounds a little bit like war to me, actually.
Yes.
The first player plays a card, and the other player follows suit. I think the war part is to decide who actually plays first. Is how that checks out to me, how that sounds. If the second player is off suit, then the first player wins. If not, whoever played the higher card wins. In either case, the winner pushes the other sumo away from them and then leads the next trick.
It's all checking out so far. It sounds like obvious so far.
However, a player can win earlier than pushing the other player out fully with one of these 3 sumo moves that I'm not going to try to pronounce, okay? But they are crushing your opponent with your weight. That's my go-to move, baby. Which in game terms means playing a 4 in the same color after a lead 1.
Oh.
Okay? Using the opponent's momentum to knock him down. Which in game terms means playing a 1 in the same color after somebody leads a 5.
Checks out.
Okay?
Right.
And then lastly, throwing your opponent out of the ring, which happens should you play an off-color 2 when the sumo wrestler's card is on the edge of the ring near you.
There's got to be a play rate for that.
I really hope so, but I don't know. This sounds like a whole strangeness to me.
Here's the rules, and all of your exceptions or maybes. Yeah. It's like everything I hate about trick-taking.
I kind of agree on this one with you. I'm not loving the description. Doesn't sound inspiring to me, but you know what? There's going to be a lot of people pulling this out of like their trench coats and being like, have you played Sumo yet? I have one of 12 copies.
Does it say what company this is coming from?
This is coming from... No, it doesn't. It says the designer, Kota Kono.
That's weird, because this looks like that company that made like Bag of Butts. It looks like that type of artwork, the Rollosaurus. Yeah. But it sounds like it won't be that company.
No, I mean, this has at least 2 butts. But it's not the same company,
But not a bag.
No, certainly not a bag. Mm-hmm. All right, next up, we're looking at an amazing looking cover here. This is Fortify from Zenwood Studios, which is a publisher based in India. And this one, you're taking control of an army consisting of tanks, infantry, battleships, but before you get too excited, on a 4x4 grid.
Yeah, I'm in!
Made up of land, shore, and sea terrains. And for advanced players, there are 2 additional units, the chopper and the artillery. So each sample unit has its own strategy and way to deploy them. For example, the tanks are going to be lightning fast, infantry enlists at double speed, the battleships fortify the shores, so they each kind of do something thematic. And during your turn, you're going to try to strengthen your position by enlisting new units, maneuvering them into positions, give you the best advantage that way, fortify your troops, strengthen them, that sort of thing, and of course, attack the fool sitting across from you. Fortify 4 squares on the grid, and you win the game. So this is coming to retail November 17th, 2023.
Tomorrow.
That's tomorrow!
That's tomorrow.
Woo. This looks like, this cover to me is amazing. That's maybe one of the best covers I've seen in a while, actually.
It's really funny because I read this news story on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I read it and I was like, oh, okay, not really my thing. Saw the cover, I was like, oh, what is this game? I'm super interested, and like completely forgot. And then as you're reading, I was like, oh yeah. And that's just because my personal taste. It doesn't sound like something that's in my wheelhouse. But
Sounds very abstract.
It does sound like an abstract game. I do love the contrast of that super cool cover and the company name being Zenwood. Yeah. It is a fun juxtaposition there.
That's very true, yeah. This is one I would definitely give a go, but I'm expecting it to feel pretty abstract.
I agree.
That cover, though, oof,
there's a lot of people trying to make like small war games very cool, and there's a nice surge of that lately, so I'll give it a try. Yeah,
there has been a good surge. I think that's right, about either war games or miniatures games, that kind of stuff, trying to bridge over into more board games and being more accessible. And so I like that. Maybe get prettier.
Yep. Okay, we're back to trick taking, y'all. Let's talk about Reapers. Now, Reapers here is a game from 2021 from Daniel Newman, and it's being reissued by a Japanese publisher, Twins Lion Do, as Mountain Photographer, which takes basically dying and makes it about living creatures. It's a real left turn. But it looks a lot cooler. So the gameplay here is going to be the same as the original. Instead of being dealt a hand of cards, players are going to draft cards from face-up piles on the table. They score the lowest card from a trick instead of the trick itself being the score, and they are predicting how they'll do in the hand. So it's one of those sort of predicting, bidding, I guess, trick-taking games.
But after an open draft, interesting.
After an open draft. So this was crowdfunded in April 2023. I guess I missed it. I don't remember covering it. And it's now being delivered to backers, so I don't know if you can go to the website and find it. Like I said, the company is called Twins Lion Do, D-O, or Do.
I feel like I would have remembered this cover and, like, again, the journey, being excited, trick taking.
Yeah.
Open drafting memory.
I do believe that Daniel Newman is the same designer as Mori.
That's the same one, yeah.
And Mori is fire.
Yeah.
So
which one's that?
That's one of the ones from All Play.
Oh, yeah. Another trick taking.
Yeah. It's another trick-taking game. But I really, really like that one. It's probably one of my favorite trick-taking games right now. And so this one, it's certainly something I would check out.
Boy, that cover is really striking. Out of the title going down the side.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very magazine-esque.
Yeah.
It's great graphic design. Yeah. We are just, it's an embarrassment of riches when it comes to good-looking games these days.
For sure.
All right, let's take a look at another good-looking game. This is Nestlings here. This is coming out from Lucky Duck Games. This will go to retail in April 2024. And in this game, you're going to take control of birds attempting to assert their dominance in 4 different biomes: savanna, alpine, freshwater, and desert.
Nailed it.
There you go. Players will assign dice to each of those biomes, including a wild grasslands area. And they will earn points for feeding their nestlings their food of choice and fulfilling gathering goals. Birds got stuff to do too, okay? They have goals. You think birds don't have goals?
They have dreams. They have ambitions.
Yeah, okay?
Those birds
You've
that
never
fly
seen a
west to
bird
Hollywood.
wearing a vest and a suit and walking with a little briefcase to work? Neither have I.
Was this on crowd? Sorry, did we cover this on crowd surfing?
I believe
Yes.
we did.
Okay, it did. Okay.
Yeah, so Lucky.
So it's going to retail now, is what you're
It's
saying.
going to retail
sorry.
in April.
Okay.
2024.
Yeah, from Lucky Duck. It
Got
was
it.
originally from a smaller company. I forget the name of originally.
And they
that seems
picked
to
it up.
happen
Got
quite
it.
a bit, actually, right? Which is an interesting thing. But again, it just kind of feels like, hey, maybe you just go to publishers first. I don't know. That's a strange one to me. Anyway, the game's going to last 4 rounds, and the players with the most victory points are going to win. 1 to 4 players, so solo mode. Ages 10 and up, plays in 30 to 60 minutes. It looks really cool. I like the look of that game.
Yeah, I
it looks
remember.
like a small, very digestible, very bright game.
Yeah.
I like it.
Intriguing.
Happy to see Lucky Duck like finding these good little things and
Yeah.
saying, yeah, we'll throw our strength behind it.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. For those of you who are old school Genesis fans, let's talk Sonic Roll.
Phil Collins. Oh, that Genesis.
Sega Genesis, okay?
All right. That's a big disappointment.
Now I'm trying to think of any Genesis song and I can't. All right, so this is, first of all, the game is like a dice game, whatever, but that cover and that box, they nailed it. Because it looks like a Sega Genesis package. Obviously fatter, you know what I mean? But like a
Like
Sega
the
Genesis.
game, or what do you mean by the packet? Like the box it came in?
The box it comes in, that box it
Got
comes
it.
in looks like a Genesis. It had the Genesis kind of came in like a VHS almost looking box. And it had down the side that red stripe that said the name and Genesis and whatever. So it really is, that's a cool looking box. All right, so this is going to be a game in which, of course, it's about Sonic the Hedgehog trying to smack around Dr. Eggman. And they are planning on, this is from Kess Entertainment. They're planning on working directly with Sega. They're planning on releasing retail copies in January of this next year. It says that Kaz here has been recently on a spree of board game adaptations, and they've ported like Street Fighter V, Contra, Mega Man, a bunch of these, brought them to the table. So we've got really just one image of the game so far, which is this, showing components, a lot of familiar elements from the video game. You are racing through levels like Green Hill. Remember Green Hill Zone? Did you ever play some Sonic?
Oh, I remember the Green Hill Zone. It's
The music is what pops immediately in my head.
It's also a level in Smash Bros. So you can live in 2 different.
Like that?
Yeah.
Please stop. Collecting ring tokens and power-up cards. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff here. We're extrapolating a lot. It looks like the players have their own dice colors. You're going to be rolling those. I'm both like, this is probably just kind of like not for me. But also I look at the image and I go, there's a lot of stuff on there. This is a complex game? You know what I mean? Like there seems to be a lot happening in that image.
I don't know, yeah.
It doesn't look like, I remember Cuphead, like when we saw Cuphead, it was much simpler than this, simpler looking than this.
Right, you have cards in front of you and dice.
It's like dice, and it's like, yeah, sure, I get it. These dice get me those cards. I look at that image and I go, ooh, I don't know.
Looks like there's a lot of dice placement options.
Yeah,
and some
it's
maybe
just
player power things that you're unlocking, something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Even
But-
maybe a tableau to the right there that we can't quite see.
I mean, nobody who's ever played Sonic the
Interesting.
Hedgehog knows what a tableau is. Okay?
Not wrong.
Let's be clear about this. So I do wonder what the audience is for this. Obviously, Sonic fans, but gamers also, or not? I would assume not, but it looks like there's a lot happening. Anyway, keep your eye out for that one. Like I said, January 2024. All right, next up, this is pretty interesting news here. We're back to Trick or Treat Studios, and they're coming out with a new version of the deck building game Nightfall. For those of you that remember Nightfall.
I do not, actually.
Yeah, but this is going to feature now using the IP of the Universal Monsters. So Universal Monsters Unchained here is a republishing of David Gregg's Nightfall. And so it has announced this. It'll debut January 31st, 2024. So in Unchained, players are going to draft their initial decks for an asymmetric start. This is a deck building game, like I said. And then you continue purchasing cards on each of your turns while simultaneously you're sparring with the other players. You're going to be fighting with the other players, you're attacking them, and you're defending them. It has a few keywords, spar, chaining, that sort of thing. A player's turn would be comparing your offense to the player's defense. And this is the same as Nightfall. In Nightfall, you would buy cards, you would play out your cards, and then trigger them sequentially backwards. And you had to, like, you could only play a card if the previous one gave you the color that the next one would plug into. So it had little moons, like a little purple moon with then like a red and a yellow, little ones. So I could play red or yellow following that. And then they would trigger backwards from there. So it sounds like a similar idea cleaned up with this theme on top of it. Trick or Treat Studios they're doing some really interesting stuff, and I, for one, am glad to see Nightfall come back because I thought Nightfall had some great ideas, and I don't know, it had a bunch of expansions, so I kind of got lost in that a little bit, but it also just didn't get the traction. I think it was mean because it was incredibly confrontational, and that didn't really go over super well. I don't know why it didn't catch on.
So I looked it up because I was like, man, it sounds so familiar, but I couldn't. So I looked it up. That's what I was doing on my phone. It's like 2011. Like there weren't a lot of like confrontational, mean deck building games in 2011. Maybe it's a better market for it now. Maybe with this particular theme, like it. I don't know. You know, you have the universal models. Oh yeah, we're gonna fight each other. Ha ha ha. We'll hit each other, and that's maybe a little more easygoing than Nightfall looked very serious, I think. So
it did, but it had a sweet theme with vampires and werewolves and all that stuff. I think it's a cool world for sure.
Yeah,
yeah. I used to have a truckload of Nightfall stuff, and I enjoyed it. So this is a nice, exciting reprint to me.
That's cool. You know, I completely missed the boat originally.
All right, and then in our last piece of news for today. Let's talk Foundations of Metropolis. This is an upcoming release in 2024 from Arcane Wonder. So they're planning on releasing this, Foundations of Metropolis, which is going to be a scaled-down version of Foundations of Rome from Emerson Matsuuchi. And this is going to have tiles instead of those amazing miniatures. And no expansions available upon launch. Just a base game for 2 to 4 players with a lower price point and obviously less shelf space being eaten up.
Have they said what size box it would be?
I don't know if we've seen a box.
Okay, kind of looks like a Ticket to Ride size.
I would assume so as well. The original Foundations of Rome takes up 1 cube in a calyx, which I think should be an official measurement, by the way. We need to develop like a governing arm in board gaming that has its own measurement scale.
Yeah.
And the basis for that is the calyx cube, a cubic calyx.
How many Ticket to Rides in 1 calyx? It's about 3.5, I think.
3.5. 3.52.
Okay.
Is officially the answer.
Yeah, 3.52.
Wait, hold on. 3.54.
3.54763. It's kind of one of those,
it's like
infinite long, right?
Pi never ends, baby.
But most measurements, 3.4s will cut it.
Yeah, so you're round.
You don't call me round.
You, comma, round. Okay, so here we go. Foundations of Rome. And I will point out this image is not necessarily a final. It's what we've got so far. But keep an eye out for this one if you like Foundations of Rome and thought that one was too big or couldn't get your hands on it or what have you, want something more portable.
I'm completely in on this.
I know we were opposite on this. I remember that discussion in the review, how you were like, if it was tiles, and I was like, I'd have zero interest. Like I don't,
buildings.
So yes, that to me that's kind of what sells is the experience of the game. But you thought it was overproduced. I remember that discussion.
Right. Yeah. Every time we play it, someone's like standing up, looking over the buildings. Like, do I have a marker on that side of your like gargantuan thing? I'm so excited about that. I think
that's cool.
I think it'll still look good though.
And the game is good. You're getting now a smaller version of a good game. So there you go. Folks, that's going to do it for the news today. Let's move on.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP. I tell you the IP and the mechanisms match. Today we're looking at Pac-Man, the card game. The deck is shuffled. On your turn, you can draw up to 3 cards. You can look at each card before you decide to take the next one, but once you have 3 cards, you do have to stop drawing. Cards like this will just give you the points that are listed. These are worth 1 point. The ghosts clog up your deck. If you ever get 3 of these, then you bust. Also in the deck, you'll see a bunch of different ways to score, from 1, 3, 5 points. And then you're going to have some special cards that will also be in the deck. that may do different things for you, level up, etc. And they will have different bonuses. If you get one of these, you have to draw one of these. They go face up in front of you. The rest of the cards that you draw up to 3 on your turn will stay in your hand. If a player ever has 3 ghosts in their hand, they are knocked out and will be eliminated from the round. And that's one way you can win, is by everybody else being eliminated. Once everybody has shut down, decided not to draw any more cards, or they have busted, then you just add up whatever cards you have in your hand, and whoever has the most points is the winner. 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, if you busted, your points don't score, only the people that are still alive. First off, I should probably state that Pac-Man the card game is one of the worst games I've ever played in my life. There isn't much of a game here. There definitely isn't any decisions in this game. I guess there's a little bit of pressure luck, but that has nothing to do with what you're doing in Pac-Man. Pac-Man, you're running around this board, you're collecting pellets, and you're getting these power chomps, and you're going after the ghosts when you can eat them, or staying away from them when you can't, and every once in a while you have those bonus ones come up. All the artwork, the look of everything is here, but there's nothing about the gameplay that makes me feel like I'm playing Pac-Man. You're literally just playing a card game that happens to have Pac-Man artwork on it. This is one to definitely steer clear of. Do not take a chance on it as a stocking stuffer or anything. Seek out Pac-Man, the board game that came out a couple years ago. My kids and I had some fun with that one and still like that one. But this one, nothing to do with Pac-Man, and the IP and the mechanisms absolutely do not match.
Bang. All right, folks, let's talk about our top 3. And today we're talking favorite desserts.
Yeah!
Now, I have a sneaking suspicion I did have favorite desserts on here already. I don't remember, but I know neither one of you did that, right? It might have been Tom and Joey and myself.
Okay.
Maybe even Mike. I don't remember. It's a while ago. Anyway, so we're doing it today again. And we're going to kick it off with Chris.
Yeah!
Who's the hungriest, currently the hungriest.
I hold on to that title.
Oh, yeah.
All right. When I was making this list, I put a lot of thought into it. I did not. I was like, okay, I'm not a very classy person. It's okay that I'm just like bare bones. I like what I like, and I have no reservations about it. My number 3, sugar cookies.
Really? Oh, because you don't. I was like over snickerdoodles, but you don't like cinnamon. I forgot.
Snickerdoodles are fun.
Right.
I enjoy them, right? But man, just like a sugar cookie. And the thing is, I don't know why, but you could have a professional baker. A friend of mine was like an Instagram baker for a while, and I brought those like ghost cookies in that one time.
Yes, right.
She like custom ices them. She's an artist. Like those are amazing. And then you go to the store and you buy just like Publix sugar cookies with those sprinkles pushed into it. And I'm like, almost just as good.
I feel like those are different than sugar cookies. Like I recognize they are a sugar cookie, but there's 2 kinds of sugar cookies. You have the not super sweet ones that have the icing and the really cool, and then you have an actual sugar cookie, which is a sugar cookie dough rolled in the sugar, flattened, and they're like 2 different cookies. But I don't know which I like better.
But they're both amazing.
Really good.
Yeah. So I like I said, I'm not a very classy person. Don't expect anything where you have to pinky up on my list.
All of mine are basically unpronounceable to the lady. All right, get ready for that. What do you got? What's your number 3?
My number 3 is a lemon meringue pie. I love the tart but the sweet mix, and then just the light, fluffy meringue on the top with the toasting. It's just such a perfect combination of things. You know, it's like a lemonade. It's sweet. It's tart. It's great. It just covers a lot of things.
I'll tell you, meringue almost made my list. It's meringue, just good old meringue. I have a very fond memory. It's one of my earlier memories of being a kid and whipping egg whites with my dad.
Oh wow, yeah.
And then like getting it nice and thick and getting it on a fork and just like kind of like over an open flame making meringues.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's like a meringue, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Handmade. Not those like chalky hard ones you get in a bag.
Yeah, no.
But like a legit like meringue you toast and then eat.
Wow.
So meringue almost made my list.
Have you had divinity?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so no. Okay.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know what that is.
I wonder if you like meringue, because I love meringue, but I love divinity. So yeah, I wonder.
I just want to go on record. Just because I don't know what something is doesn't mean I haven't digested it before.
It's true. I guess that's fair. I guess that is fair. All right, my number 3 is going to be carrot cake. Carrot cake is, I think again, it's sort of, you were talking about some flavors cutting other flavors. I like cake fine, and I like carrots fine. But carrot cake, the carrot, I guess cuts the sweetness a little bit. The way a carrot cake is, it's like not as, like sort of sugary sweet as a regular cake. There's not that punch in the mouth feel. The cream cheese frosting, I like that better than like just fondant or something. And I don't know, there's just something about it that I find very, saying savory is wrong, but it's like hearty. There's something hearty about a good carrot cake.
It's definitely more dense.
It's very dense, right?
And that's to its benefit and credit. It's dense and it's really moist, which gives you that more full feel, I feel.
Right.
Well, and do you like them when they have a lot of that spiced seasoning in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like they go to town with whatever it is, whatever's in there, I don't know. But yeah, I do like a good carrot cake that has a lot going on in it.
That's interesting. Jennifer says, as long as no raisins. I've never had it with raisins, and that would be a super hard pass for me.
Oh my goodness.
I would not
so
mind. I would not mind if it had raisins, but I've never had carrot cake with raisins. Where is this carrot cake you speak of?
In the trash with raisins.
I'll be right back.
Dumpster diving Z.
Raisins are on their own. They should not touch other food. They
What are you
should
talking
not.
about?
I know you like your rum raisin. I know, but it's
Wait, I gotta change my list suddenly. My number 3 is actually rum raisin carrot cake.
So
Can they make that rum raisin carrot cake?
You can if you can dream it, you can do it. That's what Walt Disney
If you
taught
can dream
me.
it, you can eat it.
Yeah.
You can eat, you can eat, you can eat, you can eat. All right, number 2 for you, Chris. What do you got?
My number 2, I debated for a little bit on this one. When you said lemon meringue pie, I almost gave in. I almost changed my list.
Oh, this is so
I
good.
love
But what
lemon
about
meringue.
the PowerPoint?
No, I will stay true to myself.
Okay.
Of the pies that I really enjoy, there's a lot of great ones. My favorite is this particular one that my mother-in-law makes. You have to enjoy chocolate pudding. So it's a Reese's pie, basically. It's a chocolate pudding, and she also tends to make that really thick so that when you slice it, it's not, there's no wiggle, there's no jiggle to it. It's like a cartoon show.
Okay.
But underneath that, you do a mix of peanut butter and powdered sugar to make that very Reese's-like, peanut butter that lines the crust there. And it's just my favorite pie. Lemon meringue is a very close second. And as I almost gave in when I was like, oh.
Yeah, you're like, oh. Yeah.
Also, I'm hungry. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, Reese's
I'm not
peanut
a
butter
big
pudding
chocolate
pie.
person, but that does sound good.
I'm not a big peanut butter person, so I'm like, I'd try it, but I probably would. It's like I'd try it and enjoy it and be done with it.
I'll just
That's kind of
slice it in half this way and give one of you the top and one of you the bottom.
Right?
I'll only take my chocolate with the peanut butter. No, I feel like I'm getting the short end of the stick here.
You get the bottom then.
Yeah, you
Right.
get the chocolate.
Bam.
That's fine. Yeah, it's the peanut butter I didn't want. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, see, that's the.
Fine, but I wanted a little bit of both. I'll stick with my own list.
You can keep your raisins.
Put raisins in.
Oh, that makes me feel nauseous.
Your number 2
No,
is going
that's
to
so
be better
gross.
with raisins, I'm telling you right now. I don't even know what it is yet. What is your number 2?
This one
Is
really.
it grapes?
Free raisins. No. Oh gosh, this is even now. Like you're saying, switching. My number 1 and number 2 they're so I can't decide. But I'm gonna stick with what I wrote down. And my number 2 is an apple crisp. An apple crisp over apple crumble. Specifically the apple crisp. I love it. Again, just that savory of the apple and the deep spices with the cinnamon. Are you Googling it?
Yeah,
Let me
apple
explain
crisp.
it to you.
Yeah.
So it's like fried apples, and then it has the crisp on top. You know what a crumble is? An apple crumble.
Yeah.
So think that, but the topping has oatmeal in it as well, so it's a little bit chewier and heartier. So
Okay.
making it more kind of carrot cake, where you're talking how it's.
No, don't try to pitch it.
No,
to me.
listen.
You're definitely
So like
trying
if
to be
you
like,
took carrot
I'm looking
cake,
at the pictures going,
threw away the raisins, okay, and how it has that. It's still sweet, but
A la
it's like
mode?
savory, a la mode. Oh my gosh! So while it's baking, you're making your ice cream. While the ice cream's freezing, you're making your apple crisp, and then when you're done, you're just like It's so good. It's such a
How
good
about
day.
you're making this stuff? I'm not making any of mine.
Okay. Wow.
Fun fact, while everything is a work in progress, I'm also munching.
yeah.
By the time it's done, I'm like, I'm good for
Yeah,
a
no
while.
eggs, so you can just like eat it as you're cooking. It's fantastic. It's perfect. I love it.
All right.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. I'll make it for you and then eat it all.
Okay.
Okay.
Like that. All right. My number 2 is creme brulee. Creme brulee is, there you go, it's snooty, baby. And this could have been, I sort of debated like, a custard, maybe, like any kind of custard. I'm not big on flan, but I've had it a lot. So creme brulee, which I haven't had nearly as much. And it has that nice custard, and yes, the whole caramelized top that you like break your way through is very frou-frou, it's very snooty. I get that, but I do like the taste of a good, creme brulee. I like that custard, as a dessert. I could have easily gone really, really cheap and said tapioca pudding, but
Rice
brulee.
pudding would be up there for me too.
Yeah.
Tapioca, rice
Nice
pudding.
creme brulee has a
so
great
good.
taste, has a nice consistency to me, and that little bit of a sugary, burnt, a little bit taste is the finishing touch on that. So that's my number 2. Really like them. Time to get rid of this apple crisp. All
Can't
right.
have that looking at you.
The number ones.
bad.
Number ones.
Number 1 is, as I mentioned, I'm not a classy person. I could eat this just in a gallon sitting on my couch watching TV.
You eat it or you drink
It's a
it?
gallon.
It's a gallon,
It's
so
a
you're
gallon.
drinking
Okay,
it.
so let me think.
Horchata.
Milk.
Oh, no. It's
No, you don't like cinnamon.
Yeah. No, you eat it.
Let me think,
Oh, wait,
let me
in a
think.
gallon, the gallon bucket
gallon.
ice cream.
A gallon. Bread pudding. A gallon of bread pudding.
That's with raisins.
You blend it first. It's okay.
No, it's so particularly it is ice cream, but particularly my favorite
Come on, man.
is Moose Tracks.
Oh, wow.
Good,
Moose Tracks.
a good fudge ripple, and then you throw those peanut butter cups in there. I know that there's 2 peanut buttery things on my list, but
Wow,
I
you really like your
He-
peanut butter
he
and
does,
chocolate,
yeah.
huh?
I do.
He does.
I do, yeah. But you mix that with a really nice, good, rich vanilla in there, and it's
So vanilla or vanilla bean?
It's different. Vanilla bean's its own flavor.
I think
Whoa,
I
whoa.
prefer
I'm
vanilla.
asking.
Yeah.
Vanilla bean is a flavor. It's not a mixed flavor.
I know, I'm asking what he likes, vanilla or vanilla bean.
I guess I should be looking at you. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
all right. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
hold
true.
on,
You're being
hold
very
on. I'm like,
judgy to me.
why would you ask? There's only one right answer.
Yeah, no, the difference of vanilla bean is raisins, and I'm not okay with that. So no, I really like my what I call Moose Tracks ice cream a la mode.
Have you had Mayfield ice cream?
No,
That's probably my favorite ice cream. Yes, anyway.
is that
whatever.
is that available here?
I don't know. It's local back home, but I know it's like in Publix and stuff. I think it's pretty well distributed back now. But anyway, one of the Mayfield dairy farms was right down the street from my house, and so I'd bike down as a
Have you
kid.
ever
Oh,
heard
it's so
of,
good. But it's in Publix.
Haagen-Dazs. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, Haagen-Dazs.
Oh, ice cream. I'm sorry, I just offended all of our German viewers.
And Mike.
And Mike Delicio,
Because it's
yeah.
Bakken.
That's an inside joke. All right. So Moose Tracks ice
Tracks,
cream.
baby.
Okay. What do you got?
All right, my number 1 was almost number 2 because when it hits and it's right, it is absolutely my first. But I've had some that are not that great. That is tiramisu. But when they get it right, when
That's
the
also my
lady
number
fingers,
1.
is it really? When the
Yes,
lady
really.
fingers are lady fingers and not soggy cake, and when the mousse is nice and light and creamy and cuts the espresso in it, it is so good. When it's not, it's just good. It's never.
Yeah,
I don't
for
think I've
me,
ever had a bad one.
I agree that tiramisu has and then again, like I said, also my number 1. It has a wider range of good to bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But even a bad tiramisu, I'm like, this is good. I'm
Right.
enjoying this. I don't care. It's kind of like pizza to me.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
bad pizza. I'm like, yeah, it's pizza. I'm good. I'm eating this.
High ceiling, it's not going to go
Right.
or
Right.
high floor. It's not going to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
And
gonna
I
go
will say
worse.
it's specifically tiramisu, not tiramisu flavored stuff, because again, I like the textures that come in the tiramisu.
that's
So
fair.
it's like tiramisu ice cream or tiramisu flavored just the mousse or something. I'm like, no, that's just coffee flavored, like coffee with with cream. No, I want the tiramisu, all the textures, all the light cream, the lady fingers, just all the whole range that comes in it.
It's quite there's a lot to it also.
There is.
There's a lot of layers and a lot of parts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, you put a lot of thought into arriving at this. How did somebody come up with this?
Right.
All these layers, all these things.
Yep.
So I've got open over here, guys, from a website called tasteatlas.com. They had a list of 100, actually, the most popular desserts in the world. Popular, mind you, okay, is what they're saying.
Okay.
I know there's a lot.
So I've got the top
100.
10 right here, and I want to hear some guesses as to what you guys think might be on the top 10 most popular desserts in the world, according to this infallible website for our purposes here today.
How specific? If I say the word cake, is it going to be like try harder?
No, it might be something pretty basic.
I mean, cake would be like...
Cake.
I don't think
top
cake might be too basic, but it's not like super specific necessarily either.
I bet gelato's on there.
But like cookie might be that's too basic. So
chocolate chip cookie is going to be in the most popular, I imagine.
okay. What else you got?
I said the gelato
Okay.
or ice cream.
Okay.
Even sorbet in there with it. But I don't think macarons, no. I don't think those because they're...
Well, they might not be in the top 10, right? So here
That's
we go.
what I'm
Let's take a
saying. I think
quick look, all right?
too niche.
Here we go. Number 10, milkshake.
I said,
yes.
I said ice cream, yeah.
The
So ice cream, milkshake.
Oh my gosh, Chick-fil-A's new ice. Oh my gosh, I have to check. Has Chick-fil-A released their peppermint chocolate chip milkshake yet?
I just crapped myself.
Oh my gosh, I did too. I get so excited.
I know, and I need to wipe.
I can only get it once a year. You should go wipe.
You don't have
a year.
No.
Go wipe. I need to.
Why do you have to only get it once a year?
Because
Is it
they only
available
have it.
one day?
Do they tattoo you when you go in? They write 2023?
No, they
Never
don't.
again.
Let me never see you around these parts again.
They only have it once a year. It's only during this season.
Yes, but they have it once a year for like
Every
a month.
day.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, I can get it one season a year, guys.
Yeah, but you can get it every day
will
for a
you
month.
please Google if Chick-fil-A...
No!
Well,
We're
someone in the
moving
chat
on. We're
Google,
moving
can I
on.
go to Chick-fil-A for lunch today and get a peppermint chocolate chip milkshake?
Where's that close to Chick-fil-A?
Don't ask questions, Roy. I can make
Here
it.
we go. Number 10 was
Tom's out of town,
milkshake.
it's fine.
Number 9, churros.
Wow!
Oh, I didn't see that
worldwide, I
coming.
guess they're very
Okay.
popular.
Mr.
you know?
World, we had a bunch of churros in Germany, and
We did, actually,
Yeah.
so it makes sense. Number 8, crepes. Number 7,
crepe expectations.
tiramisu.
Oh, that's a good picture,
Look at
too.
that tiramisu. That's pretty fire.
Oh, I want to eat that.
Number 6, donut.
Oh,
That's again like a
obviously.
super wide, yes.
Number 5, chocolate chip cookie.
It's available.
You nailed it.
It's available.
Chocolate chip cookie. Number 4,
happy for you.
wagashi, which I'm not sure what wagashi is, but it's a traditional Japanese sweet made
Oh,
from
it's like-
plants.
It's like mochi, but I guess it's not.
Mochi.
Mochi, yeah. Mochi, I don't know.
Number 3, brownies.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Very popular.
Yeah.
Number 2, cupcake.
Is this by like volume consumed, like the U.S.?
Don't ask. I already said they were infallible. And then number 1,
Ice cream?
mochi. Actually.
Oh, okay. I almost said it. I was like, no, I think that'll be too small.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know.
ah.
I think the infallible have fallen.
Anyway, that is infallible data from tasteatlas.com. Not a sponsor, but hey, call me. All right, everybody. Let's check out a segment, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that can be played in 20 minutes or less, and today I want to talk about what I consider to be a bit of a hidden gem of a social board game. It sort of reminds me of Just One, which I feel like is the go-to gamer choice for a social game when you want to have something that is just really quick, easy. Everybody can have a good time playing it, whether they've played a lot of games or not very many, but you, as a person who plays a lot of board games, still can enjoy yourself and feel like you're having a good, fun, strategic time while you're playing. If you aren't familiar with Just One, it is a very easy co-op social game in which the person who is having to guess on a round, they hold up a card in front of them that has a number of words on it. They can't see any of the words. They pick a number that corresponds to one of the words, and then everybody else has to write down just one word on their little clue card. and then they first reveal it to each other, see if there are any duplicate words. If they are, you can't use those words, and whatever's left, the guesser gets to look at and try to figure out what the clue was. Well, the game that we really enjoy and we have been playing for the past 2 years or so, and just seems to get better upon repeat, is Less is More. And first of all, I know that the box is bad. The box does not look attractive. It does not look like a great game. Second of all, yes, this is a Spin Master game, which again, they seem to focus more on just very light, easy family games, and you don't necessarily expect to find a social game that's going to be a hit with your board game group from them. But this has been with ours. The premise of the game is it's not cooperative. It is a competitive game, but like Just One, the person who's supposed to be guessing on a turn, they hold up a card away from them, and there's a certain number of words. You pick one of the words, and then everybody else has to write down clues to help them guess that word. But you are trying to write down the least number of letters possible to give them that clue. You do not have to write down whole words. You end up taking out a lot of vowels, and you're trying to make it as concise as possible, because when it's time for them to guess, they go by whoever had the least letters written down to the most. So if I had picked the word on a card and I didn't know what it was, and it was penguin, or if you're Benedict Cumberbatch, penguin, it's real, he does say it like that, you can look it up, people would all write down their clues, and then at the same time, they would reveal the backs of their cards, which just says the number on it. And so then you know, oh, whoever wrote down the smaller number, so the number 8, they would get to give their clue first. They reveal their clue, and it looks something like this. And you can't interpret this for the person. They have to try to, and sometimes it is a bit of a jumble. It can be very clear to you in your head, but for the person who's guessing, you could say, is that board, fifth, south? Well, you can't do numbers. So is it south? You don't know what it is necessarily. So if they did this and they just didn't really know, then it would move on to, they do a wrong guess, goes on to the next player. They still have the first clue available to them, and the next person might have this. They had written down 9, and it's black, white, bird is what they're trying to give. So maybe between the two, they're able to kind of decipher it, and then they guess, oh, penguin, you were saying South Pole, I got it now. And then both the person who gave the clue, that was the one that they guessed the right word on, and the person who guessed correctly, the guesser, get a certain number of points for that round. So that's it. That's the game, but it's really interesting. You play a round or two with people, and instantly they realize, oh, this trying to cut things short and have a really good clue that's short matters a lot, or sometimes my clue won't even come into play. Even if I have a great clue, if it's too many letters, they won't even see it. So there's a nice tension there, and then because you are trying to get it down so much, it can be very funny what people, the way people go with it sometimes, because they say, oh, they take it a completely different way. You didn't even realize the word could be interpreted that way. And then sometimes you don't realize how difficult it is to describe something very concisely. We had a game where it was icon, and is that a button on your computer, or is that David Bowie? And how do you describe that? Very short. And I think I gave up, and I basically wrote down like a dictionary definition, and that's what won it for that round, because it was really tricky otherwise. This also can work really well for kids, as long as you make sure the vocab is something that they know. Although we played this with my 8-year-old son and found out that he did not know what sushi was, even though I have fed him sushi in a quest to give my children culture. But apparently he didn't know that seaweed and raw fish were involved. So, oopsie there. But the game just works well. It's one that when we show it to people, they want to run around out and get it. And on that note, one of the best things about this game is it is incredibly cheap. If you look for it online, it is at a very excellent price point, and that is perhaps the best thing of all. So that's it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can check out more of my content on my YouTube channel and on my website, and back to the folks in the studio.
So our episode today is called It's All Been Done, and that's because we were talking about mechanisms. And is there anything new left to discover mechanically? Has it all kind of already been done? And is anything else coming out at this point really just a mixture of things that have come before that? And is that okay? Is that a big deal even? Do we enjoy a game more when it's innovative and it's new and it does something we haven't seen before, or when it's a comfortable mixture of things you already happen to know, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's an interesting thing. It's kind of I kind of go back and forth on how I feel about it myself, actually. Because there is something very enjoyable about seeing a mechanism that, you know, a game combination of stuff that is sort of familiar. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, a drafting worker placement game. And it does something I haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. You know? So I'm immediately sort of interested in what it's doing, and then it gives me something and I go, ooh, that's enough. It's a little thing that's enough. I wouldn't call it a mechanism, right? But that's enough of a way to tackle that one thing where you got me in the door with the familiarity, but you kept me because it was a little bit of a twist, you know?
And sometimes, I mean, that can be the way the mechanisms come together in a twist, but sometimes it's just a different theme on it, and maybe those mechanisms fit the theme really well, and so the game feels different in that, you know, kind of sells you in that setting that it's giving. And so I think for me, sometimes that's enough. I do find comfort in some of that familiarity and maybe new takes on it, and a lot of that maybe just because I've played games now enough where I feel like I generally know what mechanisms I like and don't care for. Now, there's exceptions to that galore.
Absolutely.
But generally, I mean, if you say area control, I'm like, oh, okay, tell me a little bit more. What else? Is there a new hook to it? But if you tell me it's like drafting, I'm like, ooh, okay, all right. I'm very interested, you know, and so...
Don't tell me more.
Don't tell me more. I'm all in. And so, but then also, again, but if you can put a different theme on it or a different take on a theme, something like that, that's enough of a refreshment of a mechanism that maybe I don't need something more.
There's definitely something to be said for how much a theme helps a game. Mm-hmm. You know, you can play a game and go, yeah, I liked it. And then somebody will even just casually be like, what about if it was Downton Abbey? And you're like, oh,
because I can see this and that.
Oh,
and that would mean
yes, that would be much more likable to me. I would enjoy that much more. So that is interesting. There is something to be said for that, certainly. What do you think, Chris?
I think of this in perspective of some people say there's nothing, you know, there's no great new games coming out each year, and I think that's a bold-faced lie.
Sure.
Yeah, we tackle a lot that are familiar, that are slight little twists, but I think it's going to be very seldom that you have those like big leaps in innovation. Right? When deck building came out, right? When Dominion was like, this is just a deck building game. It's all you do.
Yeah.
That was one of those. What do you call them? Like the Cambrian breaks in evolution, where there's just like a
Cambrian explosion type thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Or like when Wingspan discovered birds.
Right.
You know, that's like, whoa, where have birds been all my life? Now we can put birds in games. But
most of the time, innovation is small, and that's fine. You know, you look at the evolution of music over time or board games over time, and if you look year after year, stuff is going to be pretty similar, but then you start realizing 7 years apart, oh, like that is different. We hadn't seen this before. We hadn't seen these mixtures before that feel fresh. Dune Imperium, wow. Deck building and worker placement together with a little bit of area control. Like, that's a neat soup that feels different from deck building games 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm fine with that, like, gradual innovation. It doesn't have to be a brand new thing.
Right.
Well, I think the problem with this argument, really, philosophically, is you have to look, like you said, the sort of Cambrian explosion idea is, if you look at, say, technology, right, and you go from 1500 to 1950, and then you go 1950 to now, a tiny part of that explosion is tremendous, right?
Yeah.
The innovation is sort of unfathomable, really, how steep that is. But if you look at board games, it's fairly similar. Again, 1500, go back as far as you want, to 1974. There's not a ton of innovation in there. You know, there's a few things that get reused a lot, roll and move, various things like that, you know. Chance cards are a variation of that. But then 1970s something to now, it really is like an insane explosion of new ideas.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Well, and it's so silly to say that gradual change doesn't count as like continual innovation.
Sure.
Because if you pick 2 points in time, you're like, Space Shuttle is a gradual thing we got there from the Wright brothers flyer.
Yeah.
And if you look at those, you're like, well, they're clearly not the same thing, right? So
Right.
You look at where games were a few years back to where they are now, and you're like, got it, we're doing these different. Mm-hmm. You can't look at like, I don't know how to say this, but like another big Euro game came out, Chris likes it. Another big Euro game came out, Chris likes it. But after a while, you start to realize like these beasts are two very different things that we're looking at.
Yeah. It is interesting though to think, and I'll ask you this question to you guys in a bubble. How excited are you by the idea of a new mechanism, like an innovative mechanism? Never mind the claims that a lot of Kickstarters make.
Calling a dude doesn't make it so.
Yeah. No, your own praise doesn't work. But you know, again, in a bubble, are you excited by that promise of this is an actual new mechanism you've never seen in a board game before? Pretty radical one. Is that exciting? Is that an idea you're like, ooh, you perk up at?
I think I'm very neutral ground on it. I'm not perked up by it. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. All right. But I'm not aching for it either. You know, it's not like I need something new to hook me or interest me. It's more kind of that prove it. You like I'm a little hesitant.
No, what I'm saying, like, it is.
It is something new.
Yes. Is that exciting?
I think I'm still just pretty neutral on it. I'm like, that just because it's new doesn't mean I'm going to like it.
That's fair. That's true.
So
yeah,
I don't know that I'm like, ooh, yes, ooh, I need the new. Like that, I don't think it necessarily excites me. It also doesn't deter me.
Sure.
It's very much like...
You're not like, oh, I don't want it because it's scary and new.
No.
But you're also not like, oh my gosh, yes. Because you're right. That's true. Because it's new, it doesn't mean you'll like it.
Right. It's
we discovered a new flavor of ice cream. Cool. I might not like that flavor.
Yeah. So it's one of those like, show me and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, new doesn't inherently mean pleasant.
That's true.
When you look at like avant-garde music, people who are like, I threw a bunch of screwdrivers into a piano, so when you hit the keys, it just there's no music, there's no like audible sounds besides like rattling and clanking, and then someone's going to sing off pitch in a different key signature and time signature over here. I'm like, that sure is new. Can I go to like a regular concert now? You know,
Yeah.
So the act of innovation is not enough. You know, it's still got to be grounded and fun. So it's so hard to say, but it is fun when you look at something. It's kind of fun to be in the hobby, right? Like when I got into gaming, Dominion was the thing that caught us in, and it was kind of fun to just be there and see like. For me, it's more fun to see the innovations, the development off of a big new thing, rather than to see the new big thing exist on its own. It's fun to see deck building come into its own over years and years.
That's a good point, yeah, because anything introduced newly into any environment, suddenly it's like everything that built up around that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, what is all this? People take that idea and sort of process it, and it comes back out of them with their own sort of twist on it, and that's exciting. Yeah, I think you're right. All right, well, there you go, folks. Let us know in the comments what you think of some of these ideas yourself and what you think of our new ice cream flavor, Chuckle Butter. That's what we're calling it. It's going to be great. It tastes mostly like bananas.
How many raisins are in it?
Oh,
Yeah.
lots
Sans
of raisins.
raisins.
It's like a banana
No.
made of raisins.
No.
I'm gonna stop.
You open the peel.
That
and it's
imagery is
falling
awful.
everywhere. Chocolate butter.
Why butter? All right, everybody, that's gonna do it. Make sure you come on back today at 2 p.m. Yeah,
Yeah.
for our top 10. Bringing you a top 10, and yeah, we got a lot of videos going up throughout the week, of course, all that jazz.
All the 12 games of Christmas, more game
Christmas,
recommendations
Yeah,
for
baby.
holiday shopping for your friends.
And your loved one. No, I'm sure you care about them. All right, everybody, my name is Z Garcia.
I'm Camilla.
I'm Chris E.
See you on the next one. Take care.
Bye.